Hi, I'm Andrew from The Foolish Couple. We create the Foco Academy to guide and mentor people just like you to achieve true health and healthy relationships through nutrition, exercise, mindset, and lifestyle changes. Today, I want to talk about metrics. As a nutrition coach, or any other type of coach for that matter, one of the first things that we learned is to keep track of our metrics. And I am astonished by how many people that don't keep track of their metrics. Now, what do I mean by metrics, you ask? Health-wise, that would mean anything relating to your health that you can measure. Most of you probably see your family doctor once every year for a checkup, right? During the checkup, your doctor will usually go through basic questions, measure your weight, take your blood pressure, and then listen to your heart and your lungs, and perhaps request a blood checkup for your vitals. Your weight, your blood pressure, and your blood work are all considered your metrics. Now, there are some metrics that you can keep track yourself regularly. You can track your metrics on a daily, weekly, and monthly schedule to gauge how well your health is. And taking metrics regularly is important to your health because it gives you the first signs of any problems you may have. But somehow, most of you won't even spend a few minutes each day to track your metrics. You'll all wait for that once a year program, once a year exam with your family doctor so that someone else can track the metrics for you. But many things can happen during that year, and without tracking your numbers regularly, you may not be able to detect problems that happen to you early enough. If you're generally healthy, I applaud you. You must be doing something right. But for most of you, I would say probably 90% of you, probably have some underlying problem that you didn't even know about till you get your blood work and your test results. Some of the most common problems that many adults have are weight issues. You may be either overweight or even underweight. Your blood pressure is either too high or too low. You have a high resting heart rate. You are lacking vital nutrients and minerals. You have high levels of heavy metals in your system. You have high levels of bad cholesterol, which is your LDL, versus low levels of good cholesterol, which is your HDL. Your fasting blood glucose is high. Your A1C number is high. Now, the last two are very important to keep track of because if your fasting blood glucose is between 100 to 126 and your A1C is between 5.7 to 6.4, that means you are pre-diabetic. 1 in 3 people in the US are pre-diabetic. That means if you have 3 people in your family, one of you is most likely pre-diabetic. You got 2 friends? Guess what? One of you is pre-diabetic. The scary thing is 90% of the people that are pre-diabetic don't even know that they are. And that's dangerous because it can lead to type 2 diabetes, which can cause all sorts of problems into your future. I have many clients, friends, and family that want to be healthier and perhaps lose a few pounds. But when I ask about their metrics, they go, huh? They look at me funny. That's just crazy to me. How are you going to know if you're getting healthier if you don't know your baseline numbers to compare with? If you don't have a bank account, how do you know how much money you have, right? If you're overweight, how heavy are you? If you have high blood pressure, well, how high is it? If you're pre-diabetic, what is your fasting glucose number or your A1C number? If you're getting these metrics only once a year or even once every 3 months, there's no way knowing if what you're doing is making you feel better or making you worse. If you know that you're overweight, buy a high quality scale that not only measures your weight, but your water content, your body fat percentage, and your lean muscle percentage. This is important because when you lose weight, what you really want to lose is body fat and not your lean muscle. If you know you have high blood pressure, get a good blood pressure monitor and check in the morning and in the evening. It may even help if you check your blood pressure before and after you exercise or if you eat a big meal, just to see what the impact that type of exercise or diet has on your blood pressure. And there are some cool ones out there that syncs to your phone and logs the metrics all for you. If you're pre-diabetic and you cut sweets and carbohydrates only during a week or two before you check up, you are only fooling yourself and you're gambling with your health. For something like blood glucose that is primarily impacted by your diet, it is a good idea to check your numbers before you eat and 30 minutes after you eat so you can tell what kind of foods will spike your blood glucose levels. Now, how about exercise? How much exercise are you doing? How many steps do you take a day? How many calories do you burn during your exercise? And what is your heart rate doing during those exercises? Is your heart rate even in the fat burning zone? Then, how do you keep track of all these numbers? Well, this used to be very tedious, but not anymore. Your smartwatch, which I'm sure many of you have, is not just a fashion accessory, right? I know it has a cool screensavers and all these cool, cute little watch bands that you can buy, but your watch is so much smarter than that. Use your watch to track your resting heart rate, the number of steps you take, the calories burned during exercises that you do, and your heart rate while you're doing all those exercises. These are all vital to your health. Some of you may have heard that I had a horrific car accident in my teens that caused me to have degenerative arthritis in my 30s. I also had mild asthma throughout my life, even from childhood. My mom has high blood pressure and is pre-diabetic. My brother has high blood pressure, is overweight and diabetic. My dad died from Parkinson's, and both my grandfathers died from heart attacks. My family history puts me at a much greater risk of having any of these degenerative diseases. So I've been learning and practicing ways that I can stay healthy and teach other people to be healthy as well. That's really why I became a nutrition coach. Now, my body likes to burn glucose, or what people will call carbohydrates. My fasting blood glucose number is usually in the pre-diabetic range between 106 to 114 first thing in the morning. I also notice that I tend to put on weight quickly when my blood glucose level stays in that range. So I know my body is slightly insulin resistant. I don't know if it has to do with genetics or whatever it may be. So I have to be really careful choosing where I go out to eat and what I eat. I truly believe that food can be either your medicine or it could be poison for our bodies. Choosing the right foods can really heal us, and eating the wrong foods can hurt our bodies tremendously. I also do a water fast about once a month to train my body to burn body fat for energy rather than glucose. Right now, I'm doing a 28 cold water experiment to see if I can even convert my own white body fat into brown fat. Now, if you didn't know, white body fat, which is what we all have, stores energy, and brown body fat consumes energy by generating heat. If you want to know how this experiment is coming along, follow me on Facebook and check out my results. On a daily basis, I keep track of my weight, my body fat percentage, my lean muscle mass, how many steps I take, how much exercise I do, and how high my heart rate is during those exercises, how often I stand, and what my fasting glucose is every morning. Every week, I check my blood pressure and my waist circumference. Your waist circumference should be less than 40 inches if you're a man and less than 35 inches if you're a woman. Now, here are the tools I choose to measure my metrics. An Ironman by Danita scale. This scale is awesome and measures my body weight and fat content and muscle percentages. This fancy cardio blood pressure monitor tracks my blood pressure and syncs to my iPhone. And my Apple iWatch is what I use to track all my exercises, my heart rate, and how much I move. I also use my Apple Watch to compete with my friends and clients to see who's actually moving more, who's burning more calories. Now, if you want to compete with me, let me know and I'll add you to my list of competing friends on my Apple Watch, and let's see who moves more, and let's keep each other accountable. And here is my fancy glucose monitor, that has the little prick that pricks your finger and some testing strips, and this all syncs to my iPhone also. So these are the metrics, these are the tools I use to check my metrics. And I hope you learned today how important your metrics are to your health, and you start tracking them for better health for yourself. Till next time, love what you live and live what you love.